Welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you one of the most inspiring and life-changing stories in human history, the story of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This is not just a historical story. It is a journey through patience, courage, and hope. A journey that teaches us how to stand firm when life becomes difficult, how to be strong when we feel weak, and how to remain honest even when surrounded by injustice. This story will not only inspire you, but it will also help you improve your English through natural listening practice, clear storytelling, and meaningful vocabulary. And now, let us begin this powerful and inspiring journey. Chapter 1: The Year of the Elephant. A Miraculous Beginning. It was the year 570 CE, the year later remembered as the Year of the Elephant. An army led by Abraha marched toward Makkah with the intention of destroying the Kaaba. His soldiers were powerful, his elephants enormous, and the people of Makkah had no way to defend themselves. But what happened next became one of history's greatest lessons. Small birds, ababil, appeared in the sky carrying tiny stones and defeated the mighty army. The message was clear. This city was under divine protection. In that same blessed year, a child was born. A child who would later change the world. His name was Muhammad, meaning the praised one. His father had passed away before his birth, making him an orphan from the very first day of his life. Chapter 2: A Child of the Desert, Halima's Care. As part of Arabian tradition, newborn babies were often sent to the desert to be raised in a healthier environment. A woman named Halima al-Sadiya took Muhammad into her care. From the moment she held him, blessings filled her home. Her weak donkey suddenly became fast. Her animals produced more milk. Her family's life improved day by day. Everyone noticed that this child was different. Calm, pure, peaceful. He spent several years with Halima's family, growing strong, healthy, and intelligent in the open desert, away from the corruption of city life. Chapter 3: Return to Makkah and the deepest losses. At around the age of 4, Muhammad returned to his mother, Amina. She loved him deeply, but just 2 years later, when he was only 6, she passed away during a journey. Muhammad became an orphan for the second time. He was then taken in by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, a respected leader of Quraysh. But only 2 years after that, his grandfather also passed away. By the age of 8, Muhammad had experienced more loss than most adults do in a lifetime. Yet instead of breaking him, these hardships shaped him into a person of remarkable strength and compassion. After his grandfather's death, his uncle Abu Talib took responsibility for him and loved him like his own son. Chapter 4: A teenager who stood out from the rest, growing up in Abu Talib's home, Muhammad lived a simple life. He did not come from wealth, so from a young age he worked to support himself and his family. He became a shepherd, caring for sheep in the hills of Makkah. This job taught him patience, responsibility, leadership, and the ability to understand people, because shepherds must understand their flock. He was honest, humble, and gentle. Even as a teenager, he never took part in drinking, gambling, idol worship, or immoral gatherings, which were commonly practiced in Makkah at that time. People began calling him Al-Amin, the trustworthy. Whenever someone needed to keep their valuables safe, they chose Muhammad, even before he received prophethood. Chapter 5: The Journey to Syria, age 12. At age 12, Muhammad joined his uncle Abu Talib on a trade caravan to Syria. This was his first experience of international travel and large-scale trade. He observed new cultures, new people, new markets, and new ways of life. This journey expanded his mind and prepared him for the leadership role he would one day hold. On this trip, some monks and scholars noticed signs of greatness in him, but he continued living humbly, never seeking fame or position. Chapter 6. The Rebuilding of Character, ages 13 to 20. Throughout his teenage years, Muhammad worked hard. He helped in trade, carried goods, and assisted his uncle in daily responsibilities. There are several key qualities he developed in these years. 1. Honesty in every action. Even when others lied or cheated in business, Muhammad never did. People trusted him completely because he always kept his word. 2. Bravery in difficult times. Makkah was full of tribal conflicts, but Muhammad never participated in injustice. He stood for peace. 3. Kindness to the weak. He cared for the poor, the elderly, the widows, and the orphans, because he understood their pain. 4. Deep thoughtfulness. He often went to quiet places to reflect, think, and observe creation. His heart was different. His mind was different. His character was different. People around him saw a young man who was exceptional, calm, wise, and trustworthy, far beyond his age. Chapter 7. Age 20. A man of honor. By the age of 20, Muhammad had already built a reputation across Makkah. Honest, reliable, kind, intelligent, and remarkably mature. At this age, he took part in the Hilf al-Fudul, a noble alliance created to support the oppressed and protect people from injustice. He joined it proudly, even though he was not yet a prophet, because standing against oppression was already in his nature. Later in life, he said about this treaty, "If I were called to it again today, I would answer." This shows how deeply he valued justice, fairness, and human dignity, even before receiving revelation. Chapter 8. A rising leader, age 20 to 25. After the Hilf al-Fudul Treaty, Muhammad became known as a young man who always stood on the side of justice. People admired him not because of wealth or power. He had neither, but because of his character, his honesty, and his courage. To support himself, he worked as a merchant. He traveled between Makkah, Syria, Yemen, and other regions, buying and selling goods. But unlike many traders of that time, he never cheated. He never lied. He never took advantage of anyone. His reputation grew so strong that people began saying, "If you want your business to be safe, trust Muhammad. If you want your goods to reach safely, trust Muhammad." His honesty became more valuable than gold. Chapter 9. The Trust of Khadijah, age 25. At this time, a wealthy and respected businesswoman in Makkah, Khadijah bint Khuwaylid, heard about Muhammad's honesty. She hired him to lead her trade caravan to Syria. The results were astonishing. The journey was safe. The profits were higher than ever. Every deal was fair and transparent. Her servants told her, "We have never seen a man like him. He works hard, speaks truthfully, treats everyone with kindness, and keeps every promise." Khadijah was deeply impressed, not by his wealth because he had none, but by his noble character. Over time, she felt admiration, respect, and trust toward him. Finally, at the age of 25, Muhammad married Khadijah, who was 40. This marriage became one of the most blessed, peaceful, and supportive relationships in history. Khadijah would become his companion, his greatest supporter, the first believer. and the one who comforted him during the hardest moments of his life. Chapter 10. A Life of Peace, Work, and Respect, age 25 to 35. For the next 10 years, Muhammad lived a quiet and honorable life. He worked as a trader, managed family responsibilities, raised children, and became one of the most respected men in Makkah. His home was full of kindness, generosity, loyalty, and mutual respect. He never raised his voice, never insulted anyone, and never harmed a single person. The people of Quraysh would trust him with their wealth, their secrets, and their most sensitive matters. They called him Al-Amin, the trustworthy As-Sadiq, the truthful. He had no enemies, no scandals, no conflicts. He was a man loved by many and respected by all. Chapter 11. The Rebuilding of the Kaaba, age 35. At the age of 35, a major event tested the tribes of Makkah. A flood had damaged the Kaaba, and the Quraysh decided to rebuild it. When the structure was complete, they argued about who should place the black stone, Al-Hajar al-Aswad, back into its position. The argument grew so heated that war nearly broke out between the tribes. Finally, they agreed. We will accept the decision of the first man who walks through this gate. And that man was Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Everyone shouted with relief. Al-Amin, the trustworthy has come. We accept his judgment. Muhammad's solution was simple but brilliant. He placed the black stone on a cloth, asked every tribal leader to hold one corner, and they all lifted it together. Then he placed the stone into position with his own blessed hands. A war was prevented. Respect for him increased even more. Chapter 12. The Search for Truth, aged 35 to 40. As the years passed, Muhammad began to feel something deep inside his heart. A restlessness, a desire for truth, a longing for something greater than the material life of Makkah. He disliked the idol worship, the injustice, the corruption, the oppression of women and orphans, the cruelty of society. He would often leave the noise of the city and climb Mount Hira, a quiet mountain outside Makkah. In the small cave of Hira, he would sit alone for hours, days, even weeks, reflecting, thinking, and searching for guidance. He wanted truth. He wanted purity. He wanted the world to change for the better. He did not know it yet, but he was being prepared for something greater than anyone could imagine. Chapter 13. Character at its peak, age 40. By the time he reached 40, Muhammad had reached the highest level of moral excellence. People described him as the most honest, the most trustworthy, the most patient, the most kind, the most gentle, the most fair, the most respectful, the most wise. He was a man who never swore, never lied, never broke a promise, never harmed anyone, and always fulfilled his responsibilities. He was known for feeding the poor, supporting widows, caring for orphans, protecting the weak, helping travelers, solving arguments, building peace between rivals. He was the kind of person everyone loved to be near. His heart was ready. His mind was ready. His character was ready. The world was ready. It was in this state of purity, sincerity, and strength that, at the age of 40, he received the first revelation in the cave of Hira, a moment that changed history forever. Chapter 13. The Night of Revelation, age 40. The year was 610 CE. Muhammad had spent many nights alone in the cave of Hira, reflecting on life, truth, and the suffering of people in Mecca. One night, everything changed forever. In complete darkness and silence, the angel Gabriel appeared and commanded, "Read." Muhammad replied, "I cannot read." The message came again, powerful yet filled with mercy. "Read, in the name of your Lord who created." This moment marked the beginning of the greatest chapter in human history. But it was also the beginning of unimaginable challenges. Chapter 14. The First Believers. He returned home trembling. His wife, Khadijah, comforted him and reassured him that Allah would never abandon a man who helped the poor, protected the weak, and spoke the truth. Khadijah became the first believer. Soon after, the young boy Ali ibn Abi Talib, the loyal friend Abu Bakr, and the freed slave Zayd ibn Haritha also accepted the message. The foundation of Islam started with a small group, but a group of pure hearts. Chapter 15. Secret Call, 3 years. For 3 years, Muhammad spread the message quietly. They prayed secretly in valleys, learned verses in hidden gatherings, and protected one another. Their numbers grew slowly but steadily. Islam became a movement of justice, compassion, and clarity, transforming hearts before transforming society. Chapter 16. The Public Declaration. After 3 years, a new command came. Warn your close family. Muhammad gathered the tribe of Quraysh. Standing before them, he declared his mission, to call people to one God and to goodness. Some listened. Some mocked. Some became furious. A few hearts filled with light, but many hearts hardened. A wave of opposition began. Chapter 17. The Mockery and Insults. The elite of Mecca insulted him publicly. They said he was a magician, a poet, a liar, even though they had once trusted him with their most valuable belongings. But Muhammad never responded with anger. He simply continued teaching patience, kindness, and unity. His character became his biggest miracle. Chapter 18. The First Tortures. Those who followed him were attacked. Bilal was dragged across the burning desert. Ammar's family was beaten for believing. Women, slaves, and the poor suffered day and night. Mecca became a place of pain. Yet Muhammad said, "Be patient, for paradise is promised." His words kept hope alive. Chapter 19. The Migration to Abyssinia. When the oppression became unbearable, he advised a group of believers to migrate to Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia. The Christian king, Negus, welcomed them with kindness after hearing verses from Surah Maryam. It was the first time Islam found peace outside Mecca. Muhammad proved that faith rises even when people try to silence it. Chapter 20. The Boycott, 3 years of hunger. The Quraysh imposed a cruel social and economic boycott on the Muslims and the Prophet's clan, Banu Hashim. For 3 long years, families had little food. Children cried from hunger. People ate leaves, dried skin, and whatever they found. But Muhammad stood strong. Despite suffering, he never cursed his enemies and never stopped preaching mercy. This period tested their faith and purified it. Chapter 21. The Year of Sorrow. After the boycott ended, 2 heartbreaks came. Khadijah passed away, the person who supported him more than anyone. His uncle Abu Talib, his protector, also died. This year became known as al-Huzn, the Year of Sorrow. Even in grief, Muhammad did not give up. His mission had to continue. Chapter 22. The Journey to Taif. Searching for a new place to spread the message, Muhammad traveled to Taif. Instead of welcoming him, the people mocked him, threw stones, and forced him out of the city. His feet bled. His heart was exhausted. Yet he prayed not for revenge. but for guidance for those who hurt him. This moment demonstrated his unbelievable strength, patience, and compassion. Chapter 23. The Night Journey. Al-Isra wal Miraj. In the darkest moment of his life, Allah gave him one of the greatest miracles. He was taken on a night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, and from there ascended to the heavens. He met previous prophets and received the gift of prayer. This miracle restored his strength and hope. The prophet returned with a renewed spirit, ready for the next stage. Chapter 24. The Seeds of Medina. Slowly, people from the city of Yathrib, later Medina, accepted Islam. They admired the prophet's wisdom, justice, and kindness. They invited him to become their leader and help unite their divided tribes. Small groups pledged loyalty to him. Islam was finally gaining a safe home. This would lead to the Great Migration, Hijrah, the turning point of history. Chapter 25. The Hijrah, Migration to Medina. In 622 CE, the pressure in Mecca became unbearable. Allah allowed the Prophet to migrate, and this journey changed the world. On the night when the Quraysh planned to assassinate him, Ali ibn Abi Talib slept in his bed to protect him. Muhammad and Abu Bakr secretly left Mecca and hid in the cave of Thawr. Their enemies searched everywhere, but Allah protected them. After days of danger, they finally reached Medina, where thousands welcomed them with songs of joy. This migration became the beginning of a new civilization. Chapter 26. Building the First Mosque. One of the first actions in Medina was building Masjid an-Nabawi. The Prophet himself carried bricks, showing leadership through action, not privilege. This mosque became a school, a community center, a place of prayer, and the heartbeat of the new Muslim society. It symbolized unity, equality, and purpose. Chapter 27. Brotherhood between the Muslims. The Prophet united the Muslims from Mecca, Muhajirun, with the Muslims of Medina, Ansar. He created bonds of brotherhood stronger than blood. People shared homes, wealth, and hearts. This was not just social organization. It was a miracle of unity. It taught the world that greatness comes from cooperation, not competition. Chapter 28. The Constitution of Medina Muhammad established the first written constitution in Arabia. It guaranteed religious freedom, justice for all, protection for minorities, and peaceful coexistence. Jews, Muslims, and other tribes lived together under a fair and balanced system. This made Medina the most advanced and ethical society of its time. Chapter 29. The Battle of Badr. 2 AH. The Quraysh marched toward Medina with 1,000 soldiers. The Muslims had only 313, but they had faith. The battle became a symbol of courage, discipline, and divine support. Against all odds, the Muslims won. The victory strengthened their confidence and established the Prophet as a powerful leader. Chapter 30. The Battle of Uhud, 3 AH. A year later, Quraysh returned with a much larger army. At Uhud, the Muslims initially succeeded. But when some archers left their positions too early, the tide turned. The Prophet himself was injured, yet he stood firm and protected his companions. Uhud became a lesson. Discipline and patience are essential for success. Chapter 31. The Battle of the Trench. 5 AH. 10,000 enemies surrounded Medina. The Muslims dug a trench around the city, a new idea inspired by Salman al-Farsi. For weeks, they endured hunger, cold, and fear. But the city stood strong. A fierce storm and internal disagreements among their enemies forced them to retreat. This event proved When a community stands united, even the strongest enemy cannot defeat them. Chapter 32. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, 6 AH. Muhammad traveled to Mecca for pilgrimage, but Quraysh blocked him. Instead of fighting, he signed a peace treaty. Some companions thought it was unfair, but the Prophet saw what they could not see. Peace can open doors that war cannot. During the 2 years of peace, thousands entered Islam. Chapter 33. The Opening of Mecca, 8 AH. When Quraysh broke the treaty, the Prophet marched toward Mecca, not for revenge, but for justice. He entered the city with an army of 10,000, and with complete humility. No house was attacked. No revenge was taken. He forgave the very people who had tried to destroy him for decades. This kindness conquered their hearts faster than any sword could. Mecca returned to its true purpose, the center of monotheism. Chapter 34. Removing idols from the Kaaba. The Prophet entered the Kaaba and destroyed the idols, declaring, "Truth has come and falsehood has vanished. The house of Allah returned to purity." This moment marked the spiritual liberation of Arabia. Chapter 35. The Battle of Hunain and the Triumph of Humility. Shortly after the conquest, 2 tribes attacked the Muslims at Hunain. At first, the Muslims stumbled, but the Prophet stood firm and called his companions back. With his leadership, the tide turned and victory was secured. This battle reminded the Muslims that success never comes from numbers, but from humility and trust in Allah. Chapter 36. The Farewell Sermon, 10 AH. During his final pilgrimage, Muhammad delivered a powerful message to over 100,000 people. He reminded them, no race is superior to another. Women must be honored and protected. Interest, riba, is forbidden. Every life is sacred. Muslims are one brotherhood. The Quran and Sunnah will guide humanity. His words became the eternal foundation of Islamic ethics. Chapter 37. The Completed Religion. Shortly after the sermon, a verse was revealed. Today I have completed your religion for you. Islam had reached perfection. The mission of the Prophet was complete. Chapter 38. The Final Illness. The Prophet fell ill soon after returning to Medina. Despite weakness, he continued to teach, advise, and lead prayers. He emphasized kindness, justice, and respect for one another. His final days were filled with humility and gratitude. Chapter 39. The Passing of the Prophet, 632 CE. On the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal, in the home of Aisha, the Prophet peacefully returned to his Lord. The world wept, yet his message continued to spread, not by force, but by truth, love, and justice. His legacy became the light that guided civilizations for centuries. Chapter 40. The Legacy that Lives Forever. In just 23 years, Muhammad transformed Arabia from tribal chaos to moral clarity. He changed hearts, societies, laws, and the future of humanity. His leadership combined strength with mercy, courage with patience, and faith with action. Today, more than 1.8 billion people follow the path he showed. His story continues to inspire anyone searching for purpose, discipline, and success. The life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, teaches us a timeless lesson. No matter how difficult your beginning is, you can still rise to extraordinary heights. He was born an orphan, faced loneliness, poverty, loss, and constant hardship. Yet he became a source of light for the entire world. His story proves, your struggles can shape your strength. Your pain can prepare your purpose. Your challenges can lead you to greatness. Every person faces moments of doubt, fear, and weakness. But true success belongs to those who continue moving forward, even when the path is difficult. If you keep learning, if you keep trying, if you keep improving step by step, greatness will eventually follow. Do not stop because things are tough. Do not give up because progress feels slow. Do not let failures convince you to quit. Remember, every mountain is climbed one step at a time. Every strong person was once a beginner. Every success story started with a small decision: to keep going. You, too, have the power to grow, to rise, and to become someone remarkable. Someone who inspires, someone who leads, someone who leaves a positive mark in this world. All you must do is keep moving, keep learning, and never stop believing in the possibilities ahead of you. If this story inspired you and you want more motivational stories to improve your English and strengthen your mindset, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and press the like button so more people can benefit from this message. Your support helps us create even better content for you.